Step 6. The magic factor to achieving your goals. What is the magic factor? This is the factor for turning goal setting into goal achieving. This is how goals are achieved rather than just conceived. The cause of all your problems and the solution. When I ask someone what they want to improve in their life, I hear things like, I need to make more money, or my marriage is unhappy, or I need to lose weight. But these are simply symptoms of the problem. The cause of the problem is you. And this is probably one of the most sobering understandings you can reach as you work towards your stated goals. Whatever it is that you want to change, your marriage, your financial situation, your weight, you'll never achieve lasting change until you change. Once you improve, everything else around you will improve. I call this the you factor. When it comes to achieving your goals, remember, it's not your goals that need to be worked on, it's you. Here's what you need to know. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. You will only have the level of success in any area of your life that equals your level of self-worth. But the human tendency is to engage in the study of effects while giving little attention to the cause. I see this travesty played out every day. People complain about their terrible marriage, and so they leave it. Oddly enough, they end up with similar problems in the next relationship. Why? Because they didn't address the real problem. The same set of circumstances and patterns of behavior will create the same outcome. They left the relationship, but they took themselves with them. This is the most important personal development distinction you can come to realize. It, health, marriage, money, career, etc., is not the issue. The issue is you. It will only be as great as you are. If you work on it, it will continue to elude you. If you work on you, it will rise to the level of the new you. Let me see if I can help this make more sense. Our personal development, self-identity, works like a thermostat. Our current level of personal development is where our thermostat is set, which is called a set point. No matter what happens outside, the thermostat will kick in to bring the room back to the set point. If it's cold outside and gets cold in the room, the thermostat will turn the heat on and bring it back to the set point. If it's hot outside, the air conditioner will kick on and bring it back to the set point. This is true of our lives. We all have our self-worth or personal development set point. You will never make more money, be healthier, or have better relationships greater than your set point. If you temporarily do, your inner thermostat gets uncomfortable and will bring you back down. Psychologists would call this self-sabotage. This is why 90% of the people who've won an extraordinary amount of money in the lottery lose it all and end up right back where they started before they came into the windfall. The money they obtained was far above what their self-worth or personal development set points were, so subconsciously their thermostat kicked in and did whatever it took, sabotaging behavior, to bring the money back down to the comfortable set point. Here's what Jim Rohn says on the topic. If you want $1 million, the first thing to do is to become a millionaire. This is also why people who make a goal of losing weight, begin a diet, actually lose the weight, and then end up back to the same or worse weight than they were when they started. Why is that? Because even if they temporarily lost the weight, but they didn't change their set point, their internal thermostat is going to kick in and have them end up exactly where they started or worse. Freaky, huh? But that's how it works. You can only have, be, or do what you feel you are worthy of, deserve, or have in character. The key then is to raise your set point. Self-identity, mindset, attitude, philosophy, character, confidence, etc. When that gets raised, everything in your life will be raised with it. Goal achieving is not about what you do. Typically, the first thought that comes to mind after writing down a goal is, what do I need to do to accomplish this? That, unfortunately, is not the right question to ask. I want to tell you about a day that changed my life in the hopes that it will do the same for you now. That life-changing day was in November 1994, the day that I met the man who would become my personal mentor, Mr. Jim Rohn. Funny thing was, I wasn't even there to meet or hear Jim. I was there to meet the promoters of an event. I needed to wait until the event was over, so I sat down and listened to this willowy, gray-haired man with the most fascinating voice and intonations lecture about the principles of success. What he said riveted me. Jim Rohn asked the audience, "How many people want to have more?" I thought, Yes, I want to have more success, money, a better body, more companionship, etc. And I awaited the instructions of what to do. By that point in my life, I had experienced moderate success already, but I had done it through sheer brute force. I was aggressive and just outworked, outfailed, and outpersisted everyone else to grab my achievements. I did it by doing. But what Jim said next would multiply my income, my goal achievement, and my results, and it wasn't by doing. Jim continued, if you want to have more, you have to become more. He said, success is not a doing process, it is a becoming process. What you do, what you pursue, will elude you. It can kind of be like chasing butterflies. He said, success is something you attract by the person you become. Wow, I thought. This was the first time I've heard this twist of perspective, insight, and wisdom. Jim continued, for things to improve, you have to improve. For things to get better, you have to get better. For things to change, you have to change. When you change, everything changes for you. Wow, those were the keys to the kingdom for me, and it launched me on my constant and unrelenting, never-ending journey of continuous personal development. And he was right. The next year, I tripled my income to 7 figures a year, and within 4 years was a self-made multimillionaire. And I wasn't doing any more than I had before I met Jim. My doing wasn't any different, but who I was doing it was, and that made all the difference in the world. I invite you on such a journey, the journey of continuous personal development. If you want more in life, this is the yellow brick road to getting there. Let me give you an example of how this radical approach to achieving your goals works. When I was single and ready to find my wife and be married, I wrote out my perfect woman. I handwrote 40 pages describing my wife-to-be in great detail. Her personality, character, key attributes, attitudes, philosophies about life, interests, even what kind of family she'd come from, and of course her physical features down to the texture of her hair. I was so incredibly detailed. I wrote in depth about what our life would be like and what we'd do together. I had a goal that was specific, measurable, attainable, I hoped, relevant, and time-sensitive, all the traits of a well-written goal. Now, most would ask, what do I have to do to find this girl? But if I had, I might still be on that butterfly chase. Jim Rohn's lecture rang in my head. Success is not something you pursue. What you pursue eludes you. Success is something you attract by the person you become. If you want to have more, you must become more. So I look back at the list and ask myself 2 important questions. 1, do I have all the attributes that I expect in this smart, successful woman? Yowza, that's a totally different way to look at this. My second question was, what kind of man would this incredible woman be looking for herself? Who do I need to become to be attracted to a woman of this substance? Uh-oh, I thought, and yet there was the key. So now I detailed all the traits, qualities, behaviors, and characteristics that I needed to become in order to attract this great woman. I filled up 40 more pages describing all that I needed to become and then went to work on becoming those qualities. And guess what? It worked. As if she were peeled off the pages of my journal and appeared in front of me, my wife is exactly what I described, in almost eerie detail. The key was understanding who I needed to be in order to attract and keep a woman of her caliber, and then doing the work to achieve that. So, are you ready to become the person who will achieve your goals? In this exercise, I will walk you through specific steps to discover who you need to become to achieve all that you desire. We will go through the characteristics, behaviors, and disciplines you should adopt, as well as the behaviors you should expand or eliminate. We'll figure out together all that you need to become to achieve your big goals. Go now and complete the Magic Factor worksheet, and then come back. I will give you a not-so-secret, but certainly forgotten and rarely practiced key to getting what you want, something that might surprise you. On your journey to achieving your goals, this one shift in your mindset can radically change how the world around you responds to and receives you. Now, here's the part of the program that you'll really get your money's worth: how to get what you really want. This is one of the most important strategies you could ever employ in life. Are you ready for that strategy? Are you sure? because when I tell you, you might say, "Oh, I already know that." But then I will promptly ask you, is that really the strategy you're using every day to get what you want? I already know the answer. Probably not. So there's something yet still to learn. You see, the process of goal setting can make you very myopic and me-focused. If we really want to get what we want, we have to remember one of the oldest success principles there is. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or as Zig Ziglar put it, you can have everything in life that you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. Now, I ask you this deeply probing question for your consideration. What if that's true? What if you knew for sure that everything you gave, you would receive back tenfold? How much would you give? What would you give? How fast would you give it? So, what do you want? What attributes do you need to accomplish your goals? Do you need more courage? Who can you encourage? Do you need more strength? Who can you help strengthen? Do you need more belief? Who can you give belief to? Do you need more confidence? Who can you instill confidence in? Do you need more love? Who can you give love to? In the last step, we discovered what you needed to become in order to accomplish your extraordinary and ambitious goals. You might have looked back at the list and thought, but how? How can I become more confident, more courageous, bolder, happier, more positive, stronger if I don't feel that way? This is how. Give what you need. Give what you want. What you give to others, you give to yourself. And the added bonus? Most of the time, it multiplies itself back to you. Another facet to consider is what my friend, best-selling author, and thought leader Mark Sanborn said to me in an interview. He said, "The reality is your legacy is what you're remembered for after you leave. It's not about the results that you created, it's about the relationships you built. You know, it's not about what you learned, it's about what you taught others. It's not about what you achieved, but what you contributed." I once had an employee we'll call Susie. During a review, we identified that she lacked the self-confidence necessary for her to adequately perform her job responsibilities. I could have told her all the positive attributes that she had and what I admired about her to boost her self-esteem, which I did anyway. But I knew that wouldn't work. Others had probably tried before. I knew she needed to give what she was lacking to someone else in order to experience the transformation. I asked Susie whom she knew who also suffered from a lack of self-confidence. The only person she could think of was a girl who lived a few doors down from her. I asked Susie to spend some time with this girl and see if she could help her improve her self-esteem. After talking with the neighborhood girl about her interests and how she spent her time, Susie learned that the young girl played soccer but was too timid to be very good. Susie had been a former all-state soccer player in school and committed to tutor this girl in the sport a few evenings a week. Susie not only spent time coaching her on how to be better at soccer, but also talked with her about other aspects of her life. As a result, the girl's soccer performance improved dramatically, and her self-esteem was significantly boosted because of the interest Susie showed in her life. Witnessing this transformation, Susie felt valued, important, and saw the difference she could make in another person's life. Her own self-esteem expanded in spectacular fashion. She became one of my most successful public relations agents and went on to many other successes. So, I want you to decide what key attributes you need to accomplish your big, hairy, and audacious goals, and then go figure out how you can go about giving that very thing away to others. When you look at the world with an eye on how you can give, instead of simply focusing on what you can get, the thing you desire will beat a path to your door. Jim Rohn once said, "Giving starts the receiving process." So, are you ready to get your goals accomplished? Figure out how you can go get other people's goals accomplished, and you will be well on your way.